Hey.
What's up?
You could tell I'm back to work because this is the fifth movie in 2 days I've seen. So as the two teenage girls on the website,
Yay!
it was important for us to go see The Edge of 17. Just like when me and Brian reviewed the movie about women's health a couple weeks ago. Because that was voiceless, so...
Well, you sent us all to see The Duff, so I mean that was.
That's true. That's true.
This
You
movie,
guys had
this
Sarah
movie
with
was
you.
much better than The Duff.
Was it? This is a really good movie.
It is a really good. It's The Duff was very much caricatures of people.
Mm-hmm.
Where
This one's about
this
people.
one's about real people. Like
Yeah.
it's like I can see all these people. Like they're of course archetypes, but they don't come across as hokey ever in this movie.
No, this movie definitely takes its inspiration and takes its cues from the right kinds of movies like this. There's a lot of 16 Candles in here. There's a lot of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High inspiration where I mean not to say that like teen movies that use a lot of caricatures or a lot of silliness and zany wacky things like that aren't like bad. Not to say that at all. Like some of my favorite 80s movies are shenanigans movies like Screwballs and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have something like this that is a lot more.
It's got heart.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it is. It's definitely funny, but it also has those really just, real moments that people would go through. Not just, oh, here's something and it's gonna be all right in the end. It's it's.
Oh, when it gets to the third act of this movie, like it gets legitimately kind of intense in one scene.
Yeah.
I was like, this could go a couple places.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. That was just.
Like, I am legitimately really nervous in this scene. This is about to turn into a really hard movie.
Well, then also, like, break the tension with that stupid. The fucking reclining seat that just takes forever.
Yeah.
So it knows when to kind of break that tension a little bit. It's still serious, but it's like, all right, we're gonna dial it down a little bit because this can go in one of you're right, go in a few different places. So we're gonna dial it back and let you know that it's probably not gonna head that direction.
Yeah. Hey, baby, you want to go to the point?
Yeah, right.
It's Fast Times. No, this between the last couple of teen movies I've seen, between this and middle school, the worst years of my life.
No. that does not even count.
That wasn't even good as a silly, wacky teen movie. Like this is leaps and bounds above that. It's a genuinely funny movie. Like if you want to know what the idea of the movie is, she's an awkward teenager, and it sucks being an awkward teenager, especially when legitimately awkward things are happening, regardless of how you are in your social life and everything. It's gonna be awkward if your best friend is dating your brother.
who's also perfect, good grades, built, attractive guy that, attracts the females, and she's the awkward, just kind of ugly ducking sixter that got all the recessive traits. So
yeah, they compare her and her brother to the movie Twins at one point,
where he's Arnold and she is Danny DeVito.
Yeah, so you gotta appreciate, regardless of it being an insult, you gotta appreciate a good Twins reference.
Right.
So really, it's just kind of about her dealing with shit, and regardless if, you see yourself in this character or not, regardless if you've literally gone through things the character goes through in this, like, everyone has that point of awkwardness in their life. So you can relate in some way, shape, or form, or at least get an idea where she's coming from and how she feels about these situations. And it helps having a character like Woody Harrelson in there too, who's fantastic in the film.
Like in the mentoring role, yeah.
The mentoring role as the teacher, who it never actually shows him smoking pot, But his eyes are bloodshot through about half of this movie.
It's either that or the alcohol. One of the two things. He's just got to the point of his career. He's like, I'm just gonna phone it in, and she won't let him.
I don't think. You mean the character?
No, the character. No. Woody is great in this movie, but as the teacher, he's phoning it in. Like, the teacher himself, not Woody. No, Woody's great at it.
He's fantastic in this film. I could see this getting some recognition in terms of acting. Honestly, probably maybe even screenplay.
It's a weak year for movies, so I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up
with some nominations
on some of their award lists. Yeah.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld, I could certainly see. She's fit great in this movie. She's got some tearful monologues in this film, and it's hard not to feel something for this character. Like you could watch a lot of scenes and think like, okay, well here's someone who's just sort of a wet blanket in some situations, but when she's got like these monologues that are really tearful and earnest, you really do kind of see where she's coming from in a lot of this, and largely it helps too. Her performance is really that good in this film. Oh
yeah, she's like, it seems like everything I see in her, she's in. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what she does. She's always giving the best that she can. Mm-hmm. And I really think that she's going to end up being one of the next really big stars, especially as she gets older and starts getting those heavier, meatier roles. Yeah. She can easily, I mean, because she did True Grit. I mean, that was her first real role. And I mean, that wasn't something that was just light fare. I mean, she was up against two very big heavyweights of acting. Mm-hmm. Well, there's Bridges and then Matt Damon. No, Matt's a great guy. But to be cast alongside of those two and to hold your own in a role like that is an impressive feat for someone who was a teenager at the time. Mm-hmm. You know, and it seems like she continues to carry that on and just keeps adding these impressive roles to her resume, and it's going to turn out well for her down the road.
She easily carries this film.
Well, yeah.
She's in, if not every scene in the movie, she's in about 90% of the film. Yeah. If I have any disappointments about the film, it's I did not hear Stevie Nicks anywhere on the soundtrack. What the hell? Unless it's played somewhere in the ending credits.
It probably is. As they're walking out.
They kiss from a rose dit. It's in the last 20 seconds of the ending. I haven't been this disappointed since Take Me Home Tonight wasn't on the soundtrack of Take Me Home Tonight.
What?
Right?
Wasn't it in the trailer?
It's in the trailer.
Then what?
You named the movie after that.
Yeah, that seems kind of...
What the fuck?
If there was a time where a particular song was built for a movie, to be included.
Unless I'm wrong, I don't remember that song actually being in the movie.
I'm gonna look up Edge of 17 soundtrack while we're talking and see just to
see if Stevie Nicks is anywhere.
It'll probably
be
listed last at the end. Like you're right, it'll be in the credits or something. Be like, oh, here you go. Here's your fan service. But again, that is a woman talk. Well, I guess it would still work. But he was on the Edge of 17, wasn't it? I mean, it was...
You might as well. It's the name of the movie.
You can shoehorn it in,
They had a little nod to 16 Candles in there, since True by Spandau Ballet was on the soundtrack.
That's a really good soundtrack.
It is.
Like a good combination, just older stuff with the newer indie stuff. Yeah, it was really good.
This movie's made by someone who, one, probably has lived some of the experiences in this film, and also grew up on some 80s teen movies like the John Hughes flicks. You could tell that by watching it.
Not on the soundtrack.
See?
So there
what the fuck? What the fuck? And also like a lot of, well, not just 80s teen movies, kind of teen movies in general, honestly. A lot of the actors do look like they're about 25.
Because the majority of them are. Like Haley Steinfeld's almost, is she 20 now?
I don't know. I mean, she passes as a teenager in the movie. She does,
yeah.
More so than, as good as the performances are in the movie, like, more so than her brother.
Oh, yeah, her brother looks like he's close to, like, in his late 20s, maybe even 30.
Honestly, so does the best friend. Like, there's a part near the end where the brother and the best friend, the girl, are at this like kind of group gathering that they have to leave to go look for Haley Steinfeld, and they both look like they're about 30 at this part. Like, have they aged like 10 years, like, as the events of this night has gone on? It looks like they're like the parents away at a dinner party.
Yes, Haley Steinfeld is the youngest. She's 19.
Oh, okay.
And her friend is 21, and her brother is 24.
Yeah.
So it's,
What about the Chinese kid?
Erwin.
He looked like he was also about in his mid-20s.
Erwin is 31.
Are you serious?
Yes. 31. Played a 17-year-old, yep.
He looks 31. He does look 31.
Oh, shit. A very, very awkward 31-year-old, but yeah.
He's really good in the movie.
Oh, he is. Like, he's just...
I'm like, these people aren't teenagers, man. I mean, you gotta
Haley Steinfeld is, but the rest of you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's just one of those things. Like, I can't. Pretty much any teen movie does that. It's really kind of hard to fault one over the other.
Yeah, no, not especially when it's as good as it was.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Especially when it's as good as it was. It's like, you know what? That's not a, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can handle that.
See, we could play teenagers in a movie at some point. I could still cast us all in that class of '86 script that I wrote.
I'll shave and dye my hair. That's what I'll do.
Give me a piece. I can do it. I can be 18 again.
Oh shit.
Sure, why not? I still dress like I'm 18.
Don't we all now?
Right. Now, I highly recommend the movie. Between the two movies that I saw tonight, Fantastic Beasts and this, I enjoyed this one more. And I liked Fantastic Beasts just fine, but I had a much better time at this film.
Yeah. I can definitely see this being one of those movies that, in hindsight, ends up being like a Breakfast Club or a Clueless, where it was kind of a defining film of that era. Like, not just in how good it was, but also kind of a time capsule of that, you know? Like how Clueless was definitely 90s and Breakfast Club was 80s. Mm-hmm. You know, I can definitely see this being, you know, a time capsule looking back on that, but like, oh yeah, that is exactly how that was like for high schoolers back.
You mean this over High School Musical 3? Yeah. Just the third one. That was the only theatrical.
I mean, I love me some Efron, but
a perfect time capsule of the 2010s. Yes. Dirty Grandpa.
Oh Jesus! Fuck me till your heart starts beating. That's
some
fucking movie.
That's truly a new classic.
But yeah, no, I mean, this one is definitely, it's well written.
Yeah.
Without being hokey. Yeah. I don't know how old, because the director also wrote it.
Right.
And I don't know how old she is.
Like, it seems like this is the kind of movie that's written from experience.
Yeah, like most definitely.
It just seems like that kind of movie. And because of all of the recognition and award recognition, too, that a movie like Juno got, I can picture the same thing happening with this. And Juno was a movie I liked just fine. I think this is a better movie. This movie, it just feels a little more natural.
The snarkiness is not, you know, like everyone in Juno talks with just that perfect edge of sarcasm.
Yeah.
Like, without fail. Mm-hmm. There's always a witty comeback every time. They're always quick on the ball. This one isn't like that.
No. Juno, and as much as I thought Juno was a funny movie, like, it was a very... What's the way to put it? It's a very scripty movie.
Very structured. Like, it's a structured film.
Yeah. You can kind of feel the words on paper as they're being spoken. It's like, this is kind of clever dialogue for the sake of being clever dialogue, and some of it worked and some of it didn't, but this one just feels like a much more natural film.
Right.
And you had high as shit Woody Harrelson playing laid back teacher, so you gotta love that. I say this is worth checking out in theaters.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I would right now put this right up there with some of the best movies I've seen this year.
Yeah. I mean, if this isn't in my top 10, then it's by far an honorable mention.
Right.
I'd have to look at everything that I've really seen this year.
Especially with some of the shit that I've seen. This is
well, yeah. A best of list is a lot easier to put together than a worst of list because there's a lot in terms of what could considerably go on a 10 worst list.
Ratchet and Clank #1. No.
Yeah. I've seen so many bad movies this year. I don't even know if Ratchet and Clank will be on my bottom 10.
Probably not.
Like
it's such a weak year, really, for movies. It's like I was discussing this with Adam the other day about how, like, he's a big Oscar buff, and he's talking about. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I can't pick out anything that I can say is definite rise above the pack. It's definitely, there's a lot of those type Oscar-worthy movies that are lumped in together, but I agree. I can't really think of too many that are head and shoulders above the rest to where they'd be like, that's a definite Oscar winner.
Off the top of my head, yeah, I mean, of course, we're just in November right now. I mean, that stuff's gonna be. I've seen a lot of trailers lately for stuff coming out in December.
But this time, we already had Mad Max.
Yeah.
And then Spotlight. I mean, those two really, at least to me, were really above. I mean, The Revenant came in late.
Yeah, it did.
But I don't think it was ever to the quality that I thought that like Spotlight and Mad Max were.
Off the top of my head, I say that one that's out now and has been out that I think pretty easily is up there in that regard would be Arrival.
Okay.
But that's just off the top of my head.
But I mean, that'd be more like, can you see it being like, okay, there's your best. You know what I mean? It's not so much that there's plenty that are nominees. I haven't seen any that have been like, oh yeah, this has definitely got to be right at the top. You know, there's just a whole bunch of movies just lumped in together. Like, oh yeah, these are really good films. But there hasn't really been any big distinction this year.
There has for me personally, in terms of my own, what'll go on my own list.
Right.
But yeah, like it really seems like all of the stuff that I can think of where it's like, well, okay, they're certainly getting that in for award recognition is stuff that's coming out in like mid-December. Even stuff that like looks like it's just sort of like a cynical push for Oscars, like Collateral, the Will Smith Collateral Beauty.
Collateral Beauty, yeah. Which I'm just like, fuck me, really?
That movie
it's like the reverse 7 pounds.
Yeah, like that movie could go a couple different directions. It could turn out perfectly fine, or it could be the year's extremely loud and incredibly close.
Oh holy shit. I forgot about that damn movie.
Now that DiCaprio has finally won his Oscar, now it's every year around this time we're going to get like a Will Smith movie where it's like he's trying really hard, like between Collateral Beauty and last year with Concussion. He wants that Oscar bad.
They should have given to him for fucking Ali so we didn't have to deal with this shit. Because now he's going to put out a lot of shit. We're like, well, it was good, but no. Whereas Ali is like, he was pretty fucking good in Ali. So
he is a good actor. He is really good. And it's like, I want you to get that one that lands, man. Like, I want you to, like, yeah, you're a really good actor. Like, I could see, charismatic as all fuck. Like, Jesus. Like, the man can still carry a fucking movie. But,
oh, yeah, no doubt.
But, like, yeah, I think about every December we're gonna see a Will Smith Oscar push movie.
Yay.
And Sing hasn't come out yet either.
Really? I didn't even know that movie was coming out with all the fucking shit in the fucking theater. Oh my god. I saw that fucking picture, I'm just like, it can't be that bad. Oh,
Yeah,
it's that fucking bad.
It's worse than it looks in the picture.
It is.
Like I didn't get it from the other on my Twitter and
Jesus.
over on Tumblr. You can see the pictures that I took of just all the Sing shit that's in that's in there. It's worse than I even hinted at on there, and it was bad in those pictures. But you didn't see it from the other way around, where it's all over the doors and everything. And
you literally cannot walk 2 feet
without
walking
Sing.
into some sort of signage for Sing. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
I like the Photoshop thing that the guy did. I retweeted it where it was. He said something like, "I don't know, man. It seems like there could have been a lot more Sing stuff in there," and he photoshopped it to where it was just like about 5 times as much.
All over it. He made plastered.
He even plastered it on the back of someone's shirt.
That was good. That was good.
Nice. That's close. That's about how it is.
I mean, they're just dumping a lot of money into the advertiser for that film, so I hope they think they have just a surefire hit. I mean, it probably will be. I mean, they've been pretty good with their movies as of late, but man, if that thing falls, it's gonna fall hard.
If it falls, I hope they fucking learn a lesson.
Oh, that'd be nice. They probably won't though. It's a
it'll
movie
bomb, and
studio.
they'll want to advertise their next movie more.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the lesson you should be learning.
Clearly, we didn't have enough
Oh,
signage.
clearly. Just, obviously, like
Clearly, we need to turn all these theaters into Sing rooms.
let's have a giant blimp hovering the theater that just says "Sing" on
Oh,
it,
Jesus.
raining koalas
No.
down on the movie theater.
And pigs.
Fuck. Yeah,
Koalas
exactly.
and pigs. Just-
Any final thoughts?
Aside from go see it, I mean, it's well acted. It's well written. It definitely seems like it's coming from a heartfelt place. It doesn't ever really get hokey.
No, honestly.
There's a lot of stuff like with this subject matter with teens and whatnot that get really hokey. This never really becomes in danger of that because of the more serious elements. You know, and you could just you start to feel like this could be someone you know, or someone that you've met that's experienced something like this. Yeah,
I knew people like this in high school.
I feel like this is a girl I would have dated in high school. It really is. It really is. Just that snarky kind of, but then inside, you know, got that. She wants to be something different, but doesn't know how because of how life has treated her up to this point. I mean, I think that a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely relatable on more than just, oh, this girl's a nerd and awkward. You know, there's a bunch of different, you know, there's parent relationships, best friend relationships, sibling rivalry relationships. There's so many. Losing a parent. There's just so much that's working in this on so many levels that if you go see it, there's probably going to be something that you're going to relate to in at least a small way.
Yeah.
And if not, I mean, then you get to watch this well-acted, well-written movie and just be like, feel for these characters.
Oh, totally.
So.
Yeah, it doesn't throw in like middle school did, that Shyamalan twist halfway through the fucking movie.
What?
Oh, dude, I'll tell you about
Good
that.
God.
I'll tell you about that in a second. Yeah, that movie turns into like what started out as something like, I don't know, Big Fat Liar meets Ferris Bueller. Somewhere in the middle turns into like Charlie St. Cloud, as done by M. Night Shyamalan. Like that movie.
Why?
I have no idea. I'll say this: it got me. The twist got me.
You're
But
like,
why
oh,
would I
shit.
expect that?
Right. Good God.
Say it.
Adios.